All right, guys, welcome back to Sikora Success, Season 2, Episode 1 of our in-person podcast now. Today we're with
Anthony Barone,
Eric Eckhart,
and Mike Barnhart.
And I'm Brett Sikora. Hope you like it. So I figured I'd kick off Season 2 of Sikora Success with what I was doing 12 years ago today, which was working a whole day.
Cold calling with gloves on.
Cold calling with boxing gloves on. And it's just interesting to like. So I'm 35 now. That was it 23?
Yeah.
I was 23 years old in that photo, and I got my real estate license back in 2007. So I guess this was 2009. And it's just interesting, like where it's kind of come from there. You know, like I was talking to PJ earlier when I was 21, which is his age. I was a mess. You know, I was trying to sell real estate, and yet we have so many people who are so much younger within our group now, and they're just so much more motivated than I was. When did you get your real estate license?
I started 2012, so I was 22 because I graduated 2011. So I was about the same age.
You were young too.
And we were talking about like just dressing up. It was like I had to put on a suit to look way older, way more professional than I am now. Which like you're lucky I don't come to your house in shorts to try and list your property.
I know, like I'm still you got. Well, you're pretty dressed up today.
Yeah,
you got sleeves on. Yeah,
that's about it. But I have a lot of suits just sitting in my closet. Then I'm like, when am I gonna wear these? When's the next wedding?
And I would say too, I started with Gotham Realty, which I would imagine is a much different experience than what you went through with Marcus and Millichap on the commercial side.
Yeah,
of things, right?
yeah.
Like, what was your day to day?
You're wearing a shirt and tie, and I'm cold calling people with a shirt and tie. And like that's a lot, right? I mean, you're on the subways, you're sweating your ass off, you get to the office, and you're just sitting at a desk in a tie. I think it's just mentally, you get into that work mode. But that was kind of one of the things that changed later. I was like, the more success I had, the more leeway I had, it was just my dress and my attire got more and more and more casual. My manager didn't like that. But yeah, it's just a matter of like that was the business. You had to dress up for the occasion.
I definitely went suit and tie too. I remember going to Joseph A. Bank in Hoboken, and it was like 2007 or 2008, and it was buy one suit get 3 free or something.
And Xbox.
And and there's like these gigantic suits that didn't fit me well, and I'm showing up to the Mike Ferry events, and I'm ready to fake it till I make it.
It's funny. I feel like that's kind of what we all joined real estate. It's because we didn't want to wear suits, and then the first couple of years we found ourselves wearing suits.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to a couple of listing appointments with Eric, and my first one that pulled up in a polo, and Eric was an underdressed guy, from my opinion, from what I've seen on our Zoom calls, where he's wearing a t-shirt and probably boxers, and then he's wearing a dress shirt, and he's wearing a suit, and I'm like, all right, I guess for listing appointments, we got to dress up a little bit. So you gotta learn, and every client's different too. Some clients don't want that, head to toe suit guy, because that's not how they are. It's really about matching energies in this business.
Yep, 100%. Like if somebody comes to me in full suit and tie at this point in my career, I'm gonna be like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, I think it really depends. I feel like if it's a complete stranger, like I think that was your lead, so I'm like, I'm not gonna chance going in there unprepared. Where
right.
If it's my lead, like I'm just gonna go and win based on me, and it's like that's fine. So I didn't want to create that notch. Like, oh, you're not shaved, your partner's not shaved, he's not wearing a suit.
Yeah, that's a reflection on
a tie. You're not gonna see me in a tie unless we're at a wedding.
We draw a line somewhere.
But that's where we're drawing a line. I'm not wearing a tie.
I've stopped ties at the wedding too at this point.
Yeah,
I black tie.
I actually did it at one wedding, and I was getting slapped for it the whole time.
Yeah,
but whatever.
Let's address the elephant in the room. The most dressed up guy over here.
So I was actually on a listing appointment yesterday. I showed up in a suit. Goldfarb actually came with me. He was dressed for a barbecue, so we had the best of both worlds. I guess that might be the way to do it.
Yeah, you're walking in, you don't know what you're getting into. Yeah. One guy goes bad cop, one guy goes good cop, and you just make it worse.
Get a Budweiser bathing suit.
I like that. I told my wife, my idea of retirement is like we moved to like a beach town, and I'm able to sling beach homes in like board shorts and sandals.
Yeah.
And it's like you buy it or don't, I don't care. I'll sell like 6 of these a year, and I'll chill on the beach afterwards.
I was in when I was in Florida. I was in Cocoa Beach, where Kelly Slater's from, which is like a snoozy beach. It's not snoozy now because COVID drove so much traffic there, but it's like your quieter beach town. It has a complete opposite vibe from Miami. And my buddy Corey Lineback, he lives down there in Melbourne or in the Atlantic. It's the next town south. He's like, should I get my real estate license? And I'm like, yeah, dude, absolutely. Like sandals, linen pants, and Tommy Bahama shirts. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. You're right. It's like, it's all right. You want to buy a house? Great.
This is what I'm selling, guys. I'm selling the dream.
The one thing I'll say though that's been really tough with that secondary market right now is a lot of people are just looking. Like a lot of people reach out and they're like, I want to have a short. You and I were talking about this. Mm-hmm. I want to have a short house, but it might be a 5-year goal. It might be a 5-year plan. Interest rates went up, so I don't need my short house now. Whereas if you're just a smidge inland off of the coastline, where Freehold and Allen, and that's their permanent residence. That's where they're buying as their primary.
That's where seeing number one. I mean, we've had people asking about, should I buy a vacation home? Should I buy an investment property right now? And the vacation home sounds great, but people aren't going down there to the shore because they have these amazing homes now that have backyards and stuff. So I think it's becoming less of a demand, but at the same time, in the back of everybody's mind, they want that. But it's like, is this the right time? Is this the market to buy, a vacation home when you're overpaying potentially? And that's what it comes down to, especially when they have another home already.
I feel like I've always been the North Jersey guy. I grew up in Randolph, and I lived in Hoboken for 14 years. Now I'm in Somerset County. My wife shot me. Do you know Bill Hagan down by here?
Yeah.
He listed one today in Brielle, and she sent it over to me earlier before we started shooting. And that was one that actually almost made me call the lender, because I feel like that is cool when you have your primary residence, but you're also only 5 minutes from the beach, which can happen in Brielle. I think they go to Manasquan High School there. I'm not positive. But Manasquan's another good town. If you're a little inland, you still have the whole downtown, you have restaurants and everything. It's happening, there's more happening year round versus a Point Pleasant Beach with a boardwalk shut and everything.
Well, that's what I think people don't realize is Monmouth County is so diverse. So you have these small little pocket beach towns, but then you also have these communities of more suburban feels that are just close to the beach.
Right.
And I think a lot of our clients, being that we started up in Hudson County, are starting to learn about Monmouth County. They're coming down, they're seeing Ocean County, they're working remote too a lot of the times now. They're not in office. So they have flexibility to really expand that search.
Yep.
And that's probably the biggest issue is people want a house, they know the house they want, but they don't know what area they want to be because they're not stuck to anywhere anymore.
Yep.
I think it's even harder just because now that I'm thinking about it, and like you're thinking about having kids and all that stuff, is you start to really, I'll live anywhere in Jersey. And you start to actually look on the map and you're like, I don't want to live here. I don't want to live here. You find real fast, like I started thinking about my parents and all the friends' parents, like, how'd you settle in East Brunswick or how'd you settle here? And they all do the same thing we're doing, like considering that commute, the kids, the school and all that stuff. But then everything gets shrunk. As big as Jersey is, it feels like there's just not. Like I don't have a perfect town yet.
Yeah.
I don't know where I want to be.
Well, I think that goes into, to your point, Jersey's huge. And people want to say there's North Jersey and there's South Jersey, but there's a huge Central Jersey that's missed out.
Big Central
And
Jersey.
people, try to tell me it doesn't exist. I've never been there. Meanwhile, people have to drive through there every day to get to work, to get to the beach. And I think when you start looking at the map of Jersey, you realize this place is huge. And there has to be a Central Jersey.
Yeah.
It just has to be.
There's definitely a Central Jersey.
Yeah, there
I just don't know where it actually is. Because I'm in Somerset County and people tell me I'm Central Jersey now, although I'm on the north side of it. And you say you're down the shore. You're not Central Jersey.
Well, no.
He's on the border of southern Central Jersey, and I don't think you're Central Jersey. I think
it's where you're Central Jersey.
I always consider Middlesex County to be Central Jersey, and only Middlesex County. It's like even Union County isn't really Central Jersey. It's when you hit Middlesex County, in my opinion.
And then a little bit of Monmouth.
A little bit of Monmouth, the northern part of Monmouth.
And Mercer too. Mercer's Central in my head.
No, that's like the Mercer doesn't even
What's
match
Princeton
Jersey
in?
really. Mercer's like Pennsylvania to me. It's like it's not even part of New Jersey.
See, I don't even know this.
Yeah.
Because the state gets so wide too. Where does Princeton lie in that?
It's kind of like you remember like in the video games when you're like unlocking maps. In my mind, nothing is unlocked past Princeton. It's like Princeton ends. That's really great.
Just fade it out.
Do you know what county Princeton's in, Mike?
I actually don't know off the top of my
I don't
head.
think it's Mercer. I thought it was Mercer. Okay, so how is Princeton not Central Jersey then?
It's not. I don't know. South Brunswick is the last Middlesex County town that's right there, and South Brunswick is like 6 towns.
I feel like PJ, we have to have a vote on that.
I look at the map real quick.
Is Princeton Central Jersey? I feel like that's the most Central Jersey town I can think of, aside from where you're.
I think it goes against what the word central means.
Yeah. And I think also
it's central this way and that way.
I just see it as like really far west. Like I said, the center part of Jersey is where like the hip comes in, where you like see that.
Pretty central to me.
It's the most central town.
So I think it's because
it's so loose.
like northwest New Jersey, southwest New Jersey, there's just very little. So I feel like people don't really take that into account. Like when people say South Jersey, they really mean the shore. Like, right? I mean, unless you're talking about people that are like Cape May, but like people who actually live down there.
Yeah.
Like Princeton that way, that's Pennsylvania.
Well, I was gonna say, so unfortunately, anybody who's watching this, we don't service Princeton. Don't worry, we don't really do much there. We're kind of your North Jersey into Central, and then just kicks out to the shore, and all the way down to like, we've had closings LBI. We even had one in Atlantic City.
You said a listing up to market in Seaside, right? You guys just came to market.
Yeah, well, we're listing a couple properties in Seaside, so that'll be
and
cool.
we're growing, and it's that natural progression. We sell people that Hudson County home, their homes appreciate, their apartments appreciate, their families grow. Next step down is come down south, to Central Jersey or Northern Jersey, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
So let's Well, I was gonna say, let's get it. Let's complete that thought on that. If you were to live anywhere in New Jersey, where would it be? And I know you're still somewhat undecided, but I figured it'll go down the table.
I just Freehold makes the most sense for me.
South Jersey.
Yeah. Yeah. Depends where in Freehold. Freehold's
Jersey
Shore.
Shore.
But I think Freehold, like the Route 9. I'm just thinking like logistically, if I can get back up to Hudson County, I can get up to the fastest and like Route 9 to the Turnpike. So any west of that would be very convenient to me.
And it's great because you have that access to the city, you have the beach access, you have the mountain access, you got everything over there in Monmouth County. Or sometimes you get stuck in some of these pockets.
What mountain are you talking about?
Oh, you know,
Atlantic Highlands.
Yeah, the hills of Pennsylvania.
Well, exactly. Now we're getting to
You
Princeton.
have to trek over Princeton's border into PA.
I mean, you say you just purchased a home recently, right? So
Yeah.
Is that your ideal town, or you kind of felt there?
I personally, so my wife really wanted Summit, Chatham. She wanted those like rail line towns. I was able to get her to push a little bit further because I wanted a little more land. We landed in Warren Township, and it's in like the Somerset Hills. I love it. It's wooded. There's good hiking. There's like everything. And kind of tell all your points. I could be in Jersey City at the office in 35 minutes. I can be here in Morristown in 18 minutes. Down the shore in 45. So it's centrally located, although I'm not in Central Jersey. But you know that works really well. But I would say we're here because we're family. My in-laws live in Warren. My dad lives in Summit. My sister and brother-in-law live in Maplewood, and we have 2 children. So that's important. Whereas if it were up to me and money were like not an option, I'd probably live in Rumson on the water. I mean, I think that's like you have the beach, you have a boat out back, you have an incredible home, incredible schools. You can take the ferry for 50 minutes. You're in New York City. You can take the bus from there, the train. I don't know. I think that's a great town.
The only downside living near a beach town in Jersey is that it's not a beach 12 months out of the year. Like I feel like it's the only downside. Because it's still freezing cold up here. And it's like wherever you are in Jersey, it's terrible in the winter. But when it's nice out, it's better than being by the beach.
Yeah.
Nothing.
What about you?
I'd say, family-wise, I'd want to be in the North Jersey suburbs, probably not too far from the city, because I do like the city life. And then, longer term, I'd love to have a place down on the beach.
So he's picking too.
I love
I think Hudson County is great. I mean, I'm younger now, so I still have that vision of owning a condo, looking out into the city. I mean, I think it's funny because people live in the city, they have to look into Hudson County.
Yeah.
But we have the advantage of living in Hudson County and looking out into that city skyline. You can't do that. It's extremely motivating in the mornings. You're seeing that. And there's just so much business done over there.
Yeah.
I'm used to doing, you can commute easily.
I remember when it was 2012. Yes, because Sandy had hit, and I was living in this. It was probably 2 years after the boxing gloves photo to kick this off, and I started taking my real estate career a little more seriously. And I remember I moved in with Steve Rosado and Rich Van Houten, who are both in real estate as well, into 333 River in Hoboken. It had direct New York City views with a balcony, a huge terrace and everything. And I remember I walked in with my dad, and I was like, "This is it. I made it. Like this is." Although literally my share of rent was like $1,400 a month, and the rents were down and everything then compared to what you guys are seeing today. But I was like, that was such a sense of accomplishment, being able to walk in there and just see the skyline, which is like one of the most impressive things.
Yeah, I feel like that's when you start to really appreciate what we do is when you're able to access what you're trying to attain for so many people. Like whether that's the apartment condo, whether that's the house. Like when you get what you've been trying to sell to so many people, it's like boom.
Yep.
I'm where I need to be.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, I feel like our buddy who lived at the top of the W there. The top 8 floors in the W in Hoboken are condo hotels. It's almost like a co-op type of title, and I think there's like 23 units or something. But you can purchase them up there. And I remember him saying to Steve Rosado when we lived next door at 333, I think it's something like, "Bro, you can live anywhere you want in the world. Why not choose a place that feels like vacation when you come home?" And that was, he had like a painting made up of it, and it just always like hit home because it really is. It's one of those things where you get to choose where you want to live as long as you allocate or make enough money or allocate enough or don't spend a ton on Starbucks coffee or something like that. And people always said like, why, I envy you for being able to work 5 blocks from your office. And I'm like, well, you can or live 5 blocks from your office. I'm like, you can do that too.
Yeah.
You do it.
Yeah.
You do it.
Yep.
I don't know where you live. I think you.
We got central part of Jersey we're still trying to figure out.
Yeah. So it's that black hole down there.
Looking for Princeton.
Yeah, so that's what brings us to EXP is because we get that cloud-based brokerage.
Yep.
So we're able to work all throughout New Jersey and still have a team behind. I mean, that's also the best part about EXP is they've always been cloud-based, which a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people came cloud-based after the whole pandemic and stuff, but they've always been ahead of the game.
Yeah.
That's probably why you transferred from where you were.
Absolutely. I feel like people ask me too, what are you going to do? You know, what's going to happen to EXP if the market shifts and like transactions go down and this happens? I'm like, what are you talking about? We were born in 2009. We were born in a market shift.
Yeah.
The company came about because there's a better way to be doing this. And I think that you have, you know, those bigger tech companies and stuff like that are running on really slim margins or negatives right now. They're going to have issues if certain things start to dry up. And right now it's survival of the fittest, and we'll see who comes out on the other side.
I'm curious, before you bought your house, before the pandemic happened, did you ever think about an office space or outdoor space as much as people do now?
So I was always an outdoor space guy.
Yeah,
it's very important. I like to have beer, man. I like to have a beer outside.
Maybe an outdoor space, but more like the space that you, like, did the space you needed feel as much needed as it does now? I feel like people really need that extra space, really need that office.
I know what you mean. I'm happy you brought that up because I was in Hoboken for 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
I moved out of Hoboken when COVID hit. Like that's what drove me out. And I actually didn't have outdoor space at that condo that we had at the time. But we were actually selling it anyway. But regardless, the space is so important because you don't have, in Hoboken, when I lived there, I used to be out and about till 10 at night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if I wasn't out to dinner, I was at the gym. Or I was like, I came home to sleep. I never even turned on my TV. I could have not had cable.
Yeah.
I'd get to the office early, I'd work, I'd dinner, drinks or something like that, or I'd go to the gym, and that was my whole day. So the amount of time that I actually spent within the walls of my home were super slim. Even just like, think about like, I'd have showings, our office was down on, on Newark at 80 Park. I'd have showings up on 14th and I would just walk.
Yeah.
Like I would take an extra 30 minutes just walking up there.
Yeah.
And then maybe I would take a Lime scooter back to my legs hurt. But, you know, I just didn't want to be indoors. Like it's such a fun, lively town. So
yeah, you're outside kind of like, you're just kind of forced outside because of the way you live over there.
Yeah, and I think so to clearly answer that question, I feel like a lot of people have experienced that more, and that's what, you know, when I was in Jersey City and our son came, I realized a 2-bedroom home was not going to cut it working from home with a kid.
Yeah, because I feel like now I have an office space in our place in Hoboken, but it's not, I'm picturing now it's like the office space I'm going to have at my next place is going to be completely different.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's our extra bedroom / my office. Where I was like, I need to go in there. It needs to be like, that's the work ecosystem. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I can't make food. I can't take out the dogs. Like, I'm in my workspace. Yep. And I think that's been the hardest part. I think with the transition is separating that work and life, like personal life.
Well, yeah, that's why I think it's great that you get offices like this. You know, we have an office in Morristown now that allows us as agents to step outside if we ever want to bring clients here and just kind of get a different feel. And sometimes you need to wake up and walk into a work environment where if you're rolling out of bed going to your desk, you don't get the same production out of that.
Yeah.
Ma, the meatloaf.
Yeah. Mom walking to give me my laundry, you know, stuff like that. It's not the same.
No, it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah, you know how many times I'm trying to cold call at 6:30 at night, 7, and Kate's like, dinner's ready, and we're like, another half hour. Like, you can't get away with that 5 days of the week. So it's like, you do it once or twice, but yeah, when you're in the office, like, I'll be home when I'm home. So it's very different.
Yeah,
awesome.
So I moved into a 2-bedroom as well during COVID. I'm only a single guy. I don't no roommate or anything, but I have a whole room. It's just office, my desk, printer setup, all that, and I only go in there for work. I don't eat in there or any personal activity. And when I'm done with work, I don't go in there. So
I feel like that too. It's nice to have that office, and like you said, you don't eat in there either because you can just drop. Like I'll walk out without my phone a lot, and I'll just leave it there, and I'll like go decompress, and I'll have lunch in my kitchen without people bothering me, and then I'll go back into war or whatever. But no.
But I just never saw it. Thinking back to all my family relatives, I had like one uncle who had like an actual office that like you walked in and it felt like an office. It wasn't just a room. And I'm like, it just wasn't. Just people didn't think about it. It's like when you were home, you're home. And now we're just like always on.
Yeah.
So
we're connected all the time now in this world.
Yeah.
It was different.
100%. Cool. Well, guys, I appreciate you hopping on season 2, episode 1 of the Sikora Success in-person podcast now that we get to do. And you know, if you guys have any questions, give us a shout about real estate as long as it's not in Princeton, New Jersey. We're happy to help you.
Princeton, Pennsylvania.